Okay, just getting myself organised. Hopefully this is all going to work. This is the first time I've ever tried doing draw a room, draw a dungeon. That sound check is good. That's good. So we'll just unplug that and pull it out and try this and see if it works. It was really hard for me to set up the camera and the lights, so I do apologise if it doesn't look quite the way I'd like it to. I'm using artificial light, and I'm not really using daylight, so because it's late here where I am. So I do apologise if when I pull up my drawing screen it looks a little bit iffy. Hopefully I'll get better at doing this and therefore it will improve. If this is the first time you're watching my videos, by all means I will chat along as I'm drawing. It's not going to be a particularly long video. If you're re-watching this, you should be able to find the start time down in the description, which you can check out so that you can skip past all of the sound check stuff and while people are jumping into the room. And that's pretty much it. So we are going to get started and we'll see how this goes. I don't honestly know how successful I will be at making this all work out, but first time for everything, right? So let's get started. Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler and today we're going to draw a dungeon room. We're actually going to spend a little bit of time and get the map out and a blank grid, and we're going to draw a rug room. Now this is probably better be titled the rug trap room, but I will explain, and once we've done that, hopefully we will have a follow-up video and populate that and give you a lot of information about this particular room. But today all we're going to do is just draw the map itself. This is my very first time sort of doing it on live on screen, so do apologise if my drawing is a little bit shoddy. I do know that more than a few of my players have commented on my skill at drawing trees being extremely poor. Alright, so I wouldn't say it's an art class, Rob, it's definitely not an art class, but I pulled this map from an existing map, one of the maps that I got stolen, that I can't use anymore because it's no longer around. So I've pulled it from there and I'm going to draw it for you today, and then I'm going to sort of talk about where I got the idea from. So let us start. Hopefully you can see the screen. Alright, so I need to count out and make sure I got my squares right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's a square room, 8 by 8, and we'll start off roughly, we'll just dot it out here, it's there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice and quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I do it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm having troubles counting today. It was not that hard a day at work, so if you're wondering, is Fred suffering from work lag? No, it's not the case at all. I'm hoping that this pen will mark my mat sufficiently. Oh, this is the problem when you start doing things for the first time, and of course that is just not going to work at all. Okay, give me a second guys, I'll just make sure I've got this working properly. Come on, there's always got to be a way of getting it to work right, correct? Okay, alright, let's try that again. I don't know necessarily if it's going to work, but let's try. Let's try. Oh, nothing. Is this going to be a bust? Honestly, I was hoping for a better result today. Is that what I think it is? That is a wet erase. Do I have non-permanent wet erase? Can I get away with using a wet erase on a dry erase mat? Oh, God. Alright, I knew there was going to be difficulties the first time around trying to do this sort of thing. But obviously it started off early. And it's a blue pen. So that's going to show up really well. Okay, on blue grid. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I went into the supermarket looking for pens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not a single dry erase marker. Everything but. Just ridiculous. Okay, alright, first wall. So we're 8 by 8 squares. And my door is actually going to extend 1.5 squares across, so we'll just mark that across like so. Draw in the basics first, right? 1, 2, 3, and then extends from there. Okay, So it's not completely symmetrical, but it's not close. I'm far off it, for those of you who are wondering. And look, everything I'm doing is going to be something that anybody can do. I'm not drawing anything super fancy, not today, not at all. If you can't do this, then what the point is me doing this, you know? It's not sort of a, let's make sure we've got, oh, have I missed a door? I have missed a door. There's a door over the other side there. 1, 2, 3, yep, yeah, there is. So, oh, this is going to be the interesting part. Will it rub off? Ah, there we go. Lovely. All right, messy stuff. I got my pen. Okay, messy, I'll tidy it up later. Okay, so that's halfway across the 3, so about there, and that's supposed to be. I had so much trouble setting up the camera, trying to point it down. Oh my gosh, that was so annoying. Okay, so first off, we've got some doors, and we'll mark them in now. Okay, for those of you who want to know where they are, there's only 3 entry points. No secret doors. Where did I get this idea from? I've actually taken it from a rather poor movie called Dungeons and Dragons, the very first one that they put out, and one of the main characters goes into one of the villains' bedroom and comes across a rug, and that rug is like quicksand. And I thought, well, actually that's quite a cool idea, particularly for a room where you want to trap. So that's what we're going to do today. And then of course from there we're taking our rug out. Now the rug is going to not cover the entire floor, so we'll just mark it out, and I believe this is supposed to be 4 by 4. You have no idea how hard it is to draw with a camera pointing down with tripods, and I've got like lights all over the place, they're all in the way. Super difficult. Hopefully I'll get better at doing this. And there we go. Yep. That's not a straight line, but I'm trying. Okay, alright. And then we'll just shade it very, very quickly to give you an idea that that is supposed to be our rug. Alright, now we've got to distract from the rug. Okay, otherwise they are going to see 3 doors, probably walk right around the rug, and it'll never actually be utilized. So there's a reason why there's more than just a rug in the room. How's it going, Eric? How are you doing? Thieves have 5% chance at climbing walls, levels of encumbrance. Yes, yes, encumbrance, I know. People want me to do an encumbrance video, it's not going to happen. Okay. No secret doors? Yes, no secret doors. They're all supposed to be there. Okay, so in each corner, we're going to place something that will distract our players from the real threat, which is the rug. And that is sets of armor. Now, the thing with any kind of suit of plate armor, now I'm doing circles, but I will try to actually draw more than just a circle, okay? I do promise. Is that they're going to think that's animated armor. Now you're quite welcome to try to make that some sort of animated armor if you want, but I honestly don't think that it's necessary. But you could if you absolutely must, and you feel like that would detract from the entire experience by not having it be animated armor. But it's up to you. And I didn't see that there was a necessity for that to be the case. So, but as I said, completely up to you. I don't know if that looks like armor. I'm doing this roughly, and with a little pen like this, it's not going to look that great anyway. In fact, I don't know why am I drawing suits of armor? I should just grab a miniature, right? No, because if I don't draw the armor, and you guys don't have miniatures, it doesn't really work, does it? Okay. So you draw them however you like. If you can do a better job than me, which you probably can, by all means do that. It's holding a sword in front of it. I would say a big hefty, what do you call, great sword would be the go. And I was thinking in terms of the rug in the center, which we will go into more detail tomorrow, but that it would be potentially quicksand. I like the idea of it being quicksand and doing some sort of acid damage. And on top of that, my arm will be out of the way in a second, guys. On top of that, what I thought would be really interesting is if that quicksand does some sort of acid damage, and we would base that off the Dungeon Master's Guide trap chart based off the character level. I thought that was a sort of an interesting way to go. Another option is that they step into it and they get, say, transported to another plane of existence. I always thought that was interesting. Not a really good idea for low-level play. The other one is the smothering rug. You just use the smothering rug stat block and have the rug curl up around them, and of course it would have to be much larger size. Include in this room some lanterns mounted on the wall with, say, something like continual flame going, and that is essentially it in terms of that room. So for those of you who are thinking, oh, he's going to come up with something really, really fantastic and clever and he's really good at drawing and all that sort of thing, well, that's really not the case. It's got to be fast enough and done fast enough that you can do it for your players without taking forever, right? Plus, if you have to be a professional artist to do this, I don't know why I'd even bother putting it on YouTube. Okay, not for here, try this. Will this work for you? Okay. Now, what we've got here is just your basics, okay? Suits of armor in the corner as the distraction, making the players think that there's something up, and what we want them to do is step on the rug. That's essentially what we're after. It's well lit because of the lanterns. There's 3 doors, three possibilities. None of these doors necessarily need to be locked, but we'll go into that, like I said, tomorrow. And there are a couple of things we want to talk about when it comes to room design. I know a lot of people, when they're creating a room or drawing a room, they make them so small that there's just no place to maneuver. It's like tight corridors, and then you're into a small room which is 2 by 3 in squares, which is fine for a broom cupboard, but not really very much fun if you're trying to lay out a dungeon or a castle area. Okay, so try to make your rooms a decent size and functional for what they are. So the room here is all it is like an entry point. Think lobby, entry point, or even a waiting room. You could put along the wall here, we could have some benches, some seats where people can sit down. I don't know if that's necessarily a particularly good drawing, but no, it's not it's pretty awful. My straight lines are non-existent. Okay, so some benches over here for them to sit at as they wait. So it's essentially supposed to be laid out as a waiting room, but it's a trap. And you put this near the beginning of your dungeon or your castle or the lair that they're exploring or whatever it is, so that they encounter this, so that they find it harder to get through, and you start causing them a bit of pain and anguish. So that's essentially all I have in terms of drawing it, but there are a couple of things, as I said, that we're going to discuss tomorrow in terms of populating this little sucker, and that would be what sort of light source does it have, how do we lay out treasure, is there going to be treasure at all? I've got a list here of all the things. So chamber description, we'll cover chamber description, door types. I'm going to go with stone doors. I think that's suitable, but you could have them be wooden doors. Chamber exits, so we've got three exits for this one. Are there stairs? What's the purpose of the chamber, which we've just discussed what the purpose of this chamber is. Are there traps? And as we know, there is one trap. Are there any kind of hazards? Any obstacles they need to deal with? Any monsters? There's no monsters in this room that I intend to place in there. I have no intention of doing so, but you can. You could make these animated armor if you feel it would be more interesting, and then they're forced to move around and step on the rug. Up to you. Any tricks? Any noises, smells? Any furniture? We've placed a couple of benches here to sit on, so there's a bit of furniture. Your lighting, figure out whether it's dark, where it's dim light, or brightly lit. And any non-player characters that might exist in your location. And its dimensions, which we've already discussed. So that's pretty much it. Really, really simple, nothing to it. And we're going to come back and go through all the details that I just talked about tomorrow. Because it's taken me at least, almost 15 minutes just to draw this silly thing. Okay, so we are going to come back. I just want to go through the chat real quick, so don't disappear. But if you liked this and found it useful, what I want to do is try to get it down to a point where I can show you how to draw them up in like less than a minute, really fast, so that you can, you know, get an idea of, well, actually I don't need to spend a lot of time doing this. Okay, so share and like it if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, let me know. Subscribe and hit the bell button if you want to watch more of this sort of stuff, because I will continue to draw more maps. I have quite a few tucked away, although my precious map book got stolen, the ones where I had drawn like a whole bunch. But never mind, it happens. Okay, we're moving on. And if you want to support my channel, you have supported my channel by watching this video. I do appreciate everybody who showed up. Let me know if you're wanting a different sort of feel to how this works, or I needed to make it longer or shorter or anything like that. I don't do Patreon, but down in the description there are affiliate links. You buy stuff online, I get a small commission. Thank you very much. And that's pretty much it. Stay in the chat. I'll have a chat with you right now that I've finished drawing that map out. Otherwise, you can leave your feedback in the comments section, and I certainly will try to respond to as many people as I possibly can. And hey guys, thanks for showing up, and until next time, keep rolling your 20s. Or roll the 20 on the 20-sided dice somewhere. Okay, let's have a quick look at the chat. What have we got here? Well, there's no reason. There's absolutely no reason. Look, everything I do here, I'll make it abundantly clear. You should change and modify everything you feel that needs to be modified. I just made it slightly bigger, and I guess my rationale for that was the original map that I've taken this from, which I no longer have, was 1.5 squares, so 7.5 feet. That's the only reason for doing that. There was no other reason. Hopefully that answers your question, Rob. Yeah, you could include smaller rugs around the outside, because there is a tendency for people to decide, okay, well, I'm just going to walk around here. That's certainly an option. But you know, you'd be surprised if you don't put anything in there that looks, and then the rug is not the thing that the players are probably going to be thinking about. The players are going to be thinking, it's the suits of armor that I've got to worry about, and walking through the middle is probably not going to be an issue. So the last thing they're going to want to do is they're not going to want to walk into that square, or this square, or this square. So they are going to step on the rug. It is laid out in such a way that they will have to step on the rug. They can't get around it that easily. I mean, you can say, okay, well, they're going to go diagonally along here, and they'll miss out the, you know, the suit of armor, which isn't actually animated anyway, and they won't step on the rug. But it doesn't honestly matter. You'd be surprised. Most players aren't thinking like that. But you can, if you feel it's going to be necessary, make the rug bigger or add more rugs. If you're adding more rugs, it's going to look a little bit odd. Usually you only have one rug in a room, as a general rule. Look, if you did a DC-20 investigation check on the rug, what are they going to be able to figure out? Because it's a magical rug. Rob, we're going to make it a magical rug. There's nothing for them to see that they wouldn't be able to normally see. Okay? Detect magic is a different story. Magical rug, detect magic, perception check, investigation check. What is that going to achieve? It's magical. It can appear as a normal rug. So a perception check. Think about the false appearance monster ability. There's nothing to see. There's nothing to investigate. Okay? Or even investigating it, what is that going to achieve? You know, short of them saying, look, I stick my finger on the rug, and they wind up with a little bit of whatever is on their finger. You can have it set up in such a way that they have to step on it, and that's the trigger, putting their weight on the rug, and that will activate it, and they'll either get whatever, you know, sucked down into the sand, or wrapped up in it, or whatever it is you want it to do. More pen colours. I do, yes, look, Lee, I totally understand that. Next time, more pen colours. It's just, I went looking through my pens and I realised that I stuck all of my pens in the suitcase that got stolen, and unfortunately when I went into the supermarket I could not buy any pens, and I've been working. So next time, I promise, more pen colours, I will be more organised, I will have this figured out, a lot better than I have. But yeah, that's essentially it. Nothing more to it. Okay, so we'll come back and we'll talk about populating this and making it a little bit more interesting. We've actually talked a lot about that already, and in fact, you know, I almost feel like I don't even need to. We've drawn it, we've done it. It almost feels like it's a done deal because we've already talked about just about everything we were going to talk about. So there isn't really anything else to cover, is there? 20 minutes. It's taken me that long to figure that out. 20 minutes. Look, this is just a trial. I'm still finding my feet with this. I'll get better at it. In terms of sights and sounds, well, they can see what they see. And sounds, I wouldn't put any sounds in this room. It doesn't seem to make any sense whatsoever. We've already talked about lighting. There's no NPCs. Okay, so we've covered it. And we've talked about the trap. You can make it a quicksand trap. It could just, look, all you're doing is sucking them down. So then setting a DC for an athletics check to try to drag themselves out, probably the only thing you need to concern yourself with. I'd set the DC high, like 20, 25. I feel like traps are that are set at DCs of 10 and 15 are just way too low. And then just base the damage that it does on the trap chart for their level that is in the Dungeon Master's Guide. And you know, you can have it. I tend to think that traps should be fairly deadly. I would set the damage output at about that. And then after that, you know, people trying to drag people out of the trap rug is really just a matter of you deciding what is suitable as a number to hit with their strength check. And you might even say, look, an athletics check is suitable as well. In terms of the rug, well, you just have a look in the monster manual and you'll find the stats for the smothering rug, and you just use that, and then just, you know, based off its size, I would just add more hit points to it. Okay, that's all you need to do, nothing else to it. Really pretty easy. Okay, alright, I appreciate that. I think we're done. I will hopefully get better at doing this, and we'll come back tomorrow and we'll do another map. We'll do another map. We won't do the same map. We'll just do this map. Okay, no, we won't do this map. We'll do a different map. Okay, I'm done, guys. I'm going to go and have some food. We'll see you next time.